Hi, and thank you so much for joining me today for day 11 of Christie's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches round 10. Today's sketch, which you will have seen there and is up on the left hand corner of the screen, is from CC Inez, and it's really inspiring. I did like this sketch. There's a notebook paper that's been used and some scallops down the right hand side. So once again I'm using Vicki Boutin's Print Shop papers, and I've treated myself to the 12 by 12 paper pad. So I'm just pulling out some papers that I can use to add strips down the right hand side of the page. So what I'll do, I'll choose the 3 papers that I'm going to use, then carefully tear off the edge, cut them down to 2-inch strips and adhere them to the right hand side of the layout, and then measure using my trimmer 12 inches and cut the excess off the left hand side of the layout. I also want to use that scalloped border that you see on the 6 by 12 sticker sheets. So now I've chosen my 3 papers, I'll go through the process that I just told you, tearing the edges and then adding the strips. So as you see, now that 3rd strip is down, and the 3rd strip I didn't tear the edge because I wanted it to be a flat edge like you would have on a 12 by 12 paper. I then used my trimmer to measure 12 inches and cut the excess off the left hand side of the white cardstock. So now just ruffling up the edges of that white cardstock to add this 6 by 12 border. It takes a couple of goes, but I get there in the end, and that's the scallop that you see on the original sketch. It's just off the screen at the moment, but I will bring that back in. So you don't, it doesn't show massively because it's on a busy patterned paper, but it shows enough. I know it's there, and it definitely adds something to the layout. So now that's done, I'm bringing in my photos. These are photos of my daughter and I when we went to C6 in Liverpool just before lockdown. It was literally just before lockdown. I think it was the Thursday before the announcement was made on the Monday in the UK that we weren't allowed to leave our homes. So I've already matted these onto white cardstock. I didn't think you'd need to see me doing that. Now I'm just straightening the edge of this scrap from the 6 by 8 paper pad, and then I'm going to create a photo mat to add these photos onto. And I want to add them slightly askew like that. So just roughing up the edges of the mat, and then I can add the photos to it. And the photos are going to be mounted up onto the Sticks to 25mm foam pads, which you'll see me using often if you watch my videos. They're so easy and quick to use, and a decent size, so you don't get all the divots that you get if you're using very small foam. So just making sure that I'm happy with the positioning, and those will get stuck down onto that mat. Now I'm coming in with another scrap of paper to create the notebook look above that group of photos. So just using my EK Success notebook punch, to create that notebook edge, and that's going to sit right above the photo mat. I'm not going to add it onto a big piece like in the sketch. I'm just taking inspiration from that for this. Just roughing up the edges to add some texture, and then that'll go behind there. And now just looking through the 6x8 paper pad to see what else I can find, and I find this sheet of tags, and I know that I want to use one of those down the left hand side of the photos somewhere. So just cutting up a couple out so that I've got choices. But I will spend some time one evening just cutting those tags out and adding them to my pot of ephemera so that I'm ready to use them on a future layout. They really are a great idea, and I love that they're double-sided. I don't know whether you saw there, it's got like a purple paint on the other side. They each had paint swatches on them, so if you didn't want to use one side, the other side would definitely work. So just having a little fiddle to see that I'm happy with the way I'm going with this layout, and then I'm going to remove that and come in with my mixed media. So this time I want to use this heart stencil, which is in the stencil pack from Vicki Boutin Print Shop, and I'm bringing in a couple of distress oxides. First of all, I come in with Tattered Rose, and I'm just choosing random hearts to create a strip down the centre of the page. So just slowly blending those and being careful not to cover the ones that I don't want to cover. So going in with a light hand, checking that I'm happy with what I'm doing, and then continuing all the way down the page. So now I've got a bit of a strip there. I'm just bringing my photo in to check that I'm happy with the placement and that I've done enough. It's at this point that I realise I don't really know why I'm doing a strip. I probably would have been better creating it as a mat behind the photos. So I start to move that strip outwards to create more of a general feel of the hearts. So while I'm thinking, I come in and hand cut some of these hearts from this 6x8 paper, and these will be scattered around the page as well. So it becomes a very, very busy page. I am happy with the overall look, but I think I just wasn't thinking when I was doing it. I'm so used to doing layouts with a vertical strip. You will have seen if you've watched my previous videos that that's the look I was going for again, forgetting that that wasn't what I wanted to do this time. But it's all a process, and I managed to salvage it in the end. So coming in with Speckled Egg now to create some more of those hearts and spread the strip out a little bit more rather than just having it centrally down the absolute middle of the page. And once I finish with the Speckled Egg, I'm going to come in with Bundled Sage and add some greens as well. These are definitely my go-to colours for this collection. They work really nicely, and I do prefer the muted tones. And there you can see that I've extended that strip out across more of the page now. So I just want to mist those with some water lightly and then dab up the water. It adds some lovely speckles and texture to those hearts rather than them just being solid colours, and I really like that. So here you can see my pot of hand cut hearts from that paper that I showed before. So just going through the paper pad now to see what else I can see to add. And I'm just going to add some more mats to this photo mat. So I start with this green piece, and I will distress all the edges as I go. Just sticking that notebook piece down because I know that that's definitely going to go there. And then, as I say, start fiddling with the scraps that I've got from the 6x8 pad. So this green piece goes on first of all, and then I'll find some more bits to add after. So this navy blue piece next, again just distressing all the edges before that goes down underneath, to the right of the green. Again, just gluing it down with my wet adhesive. It's easy just to slip that under and glue the bits down without having to move and reposition things. Although I don't add enough glue, so I have to go back with it anyway, but the principle's there. And then just tearing a piece of this aqua green, a very dark green, and adding that to the bottom strip there. And you can see I've changed the tag to that pink one, but I do go back to the beige one in the end that says noteworthy on it, although you don't see the word noteworthy when it's done. So the 6x12 sticker sheet now, just to see what I can use from that. Here's where I realised that I wanted to use the other tag, so just swapping that over. And I decided that it should come out from the side of the layout like that, but then I've got a funny gap between the bottom torn strip and that, so I do have to resolve that. So coming in with a sticker from the 6x12 sticker sheet that just says noted, and starting to build up my layers of ephemera and embellishments around the photo. This sticker goes everywhere on the layout. It does make it in the end, but that's not its final resting place. You'll see me move it around as we move on. So just adding that tag there, making sure that I punch the hole out. I can't bear to have filled in holes. And deciding that I definitely want the photo mount more to the right hand side of the page. So at this point, when I start sticking that sticker down onto the main base, I realise that I need to commit to sticking this mat of photos down so that I can continue embellishing around. Just checking with my T-ruler that it's more or less straight. It's hard when the photos are on an angle, but you get a feel for where it should be. And straightening off that sticker as well. I think that was making my eye feel that it wasn't straight. Just checking on the 6x12 sticker sheet to see what else I could add from this. And for now I decided not to add that sticker. But I do find this word that says smile, and I think that will be a great one to add because we're both beaming. And it really fills in that gap on the side. Managed to stick that down on the photo, wasn't very clever. Just popping it there for now. And then on the sketch you can see there's a big circle with a flower on to the left hand bottom corner of the first photo. So I'm using this big floral sticker from the 6x12 sticker sheet to add that there. And then looking through to see what else I can find. And this sticker says time together, and I think that's really nice. Because it was a really lovely evening that we had together. Who knew what the world was going to throw at us after that. And now coming in with all these hearts, and they're going to be scattered all around the layout. I add a bit of dimension by folding them in the middle, and the glue will just go down that middle spine like I do with butterflies, if you've seen me doing that before. And this is just extending that stenciling that I did at the beginning, bringing the hearts in to go all over the page. Like I say, it's a very busy page for me, but I do like the look, and sometimes it's good to try something different. We all have our own styles, and it's definitely still in my style, but it is very different from what I'm used to. So as I say, just scattering all these around. I won't make you watch me gluing them all down, but just checking that I'm happy with the placement. Adding my journaling, which just reads, an evening trip to Liverpool to Gourmet Burger and then 6. Because that's what we've done, we've been to Gourmet Burger first. Using some thread just to tie a bow on that tag. More often than not, you'll see me bringing the thread over the edge of the page, but this time I didn't want to do that. So just tying a neat bow. And then I just use a dot of wet adhesive on the knot to make sure that the bow stays in place. So trim off those excess bits. And here I come in with that dot. And it just keeps the knot together, because sometimes these can work their way loose. Now this is one of the washi stickers from the Papyri collection. and I just thought that looked quite nice above that word smile. So adding that down, and even the shape of it works really nicely, the way I position those letters. And you'll see on the heart, some of them I'm sticking upside down because the reverse of that 6x8 paper was this beautiful typed pattern paper. So they look really nice. Rather than having all coloured hearts, it's quite nice to break that up with this typeface. It's almost like a newspaper print. That's lovely. And now in the papyri pieces, I found this little tag that says memory making. It was a sheet and I just cut that piece off. Honestly, the papyri paper pieces are amazing from this print shop. I'm going to look at the ones that are in the Mago Holmes Carousel collection, because I think that might be something that I want as well. They're just great for adding little bits and pieces to your layout. So now coming in with my title, and I start off with these Jelly Bean Soup alphabet stickers, and I just write 6 because that's where we were. We were at the theatre watching 6. But it just kind of gets lost because they're such small stickers. So then I have the genius idea, I think it's genius anyway, to come in with some other stickers and just write 6 3 times. So starting off with these black letters, and I glue them down because they're very old, so the adhesive is failing on them now. And then these are some old Amy Tangerine thickers from American Crafts. So again, just writing 6 with an exclamation mark. And again, I'm going to glue those down with wet adhesive because they're, you can see they've all fallen down in the packet. They're not sticking at all anymore. Sometimes that does make it easier for these to use these though, because they're not sticking to your layout. You can position them exactly where you want and then add the adhesive afterwards. And finally I'm going to come in with the alphabet thickers from the actual print shop range. These are gorgeous. It did take me a bit of time to work out which letters to use though, because they're all different. It's like a ransom note that Vicky's gone for. So just choosing, and I do swap that S out because I'm not quite happy with it in the end. It's almost like a reverse 2. I thought it was quite quirky and looked good, but it was just a bit too clunky. I didn't have a bigger X. I think if we'd had a bigger, thicker X, then it would have worked. But there, I suppose not many people use X's, so there are only a couple on this sticker sheet. So, but thankfully there was an exclamation mark because I didn't check that before I started. So here I am just swapping out that S for a slightly more delicate one. The white doesn't work because it just disappears into the paper, and all the other ones that I've chosen are black, so I wanted to stick with the black. So there we have it. And again, because it's chipboard, I will stick that down with wet adhesive at the end. So now I want to create a little cluster in the top left-hand corner. So coming in with one of these washi stickers. I don't need to use the whole thing, so I'll cut it in half so I've got another piece for next time. Just checking that it's straight using my tea ruler, and it wasn't, so it's just as well I did. And I find this washi sticker of the flower, which I quite like the look of, so put that there, but it doesn't make the cut in the end. Now just looking for things to add to that top left-hand cluster, and this sticker from the 6x12 sticker sheet, it just says this here, and then using an arrow to point to what I'm talking about. And then that says a bright idea. It was Amelia's idea. She had heard about the musical 6. I hadn't heard of it before. So she said, come on, let's see if it's on. And it was in Liverpool, so we booked it. And I'm so happy we did. It was wonderful. In fact, we've just been again recently with good friends to see it at the Lowry Centre in Manchester. So trying with that washi flower, but like I say, it didn't quite make the cut. So just wanting to layer some flowers up onto this bottom cluster. So I find another one to layer on top of that, just to expand the cluster and fill in that space below the word smile. I wasn't happy with the hey girl hey phrase that I put there, so just popping that up on some foam because the other one's on foam. And there we go. Trimming off the little bit that hangs over and then sticking that down there. So again, another quick check through the 6x12 stickers. I know I want to add something else to that top left-hand cluster. Find a little love this sticker, So that goes down, and then on the chipboard sheet, 6x12 chipboard stickers, I find this flower. I knew I wanted something in that corner, but that washi sticker was just a little bit too delicate, so the chipboard works perfectly. And then finally finding somewhere to put this Hey Girl Hey sticker, and it works really nicely with that smaller cluster on the right hand side. So coming in with the chipboard pieces now from Print Shop, and I'm determined to add something else up there, trying a few different things. I find a star, but it's not quite big enough, so I just leave it resting there for now while I look for other bits that could be added. I love this to add my date to, so that gets tucked behind. And because these are nice chunky substantial pieces, they really add some gravitas, I suppose, to the layout. You know, it gives a little bit of grounding. I like bringing the black in because we've got some black around the bottom and on the right hand side in those strips. So adding the date stamp to just a scrap piece of paper, which I'll cut out and stick onto that tab that I've added to the top of the photo there in chipboard. And I want to trim it nice and small because it's only a small circle that it's going on, but that just fits perfectly. So gluing it down with my wet adhesive again. And then I glue this piece down, but I know I'm not happy with that star. So I just want to have another look to see what else there is. And find a bigger star, but because it's an open star, it doesn't really add the clunkiness that I want up there. And then I find this heart, and that's much better. It nestles nicely with that printed heart, brings the black up to the top there and looks really good. Then I find this big black heart to add up there as well. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this process video, and I shall see you again tomorrow for the next one. Do check the description box down below to see everybody else joining in on this hop. There's a playlist, and I'd love it if you would give me a like and subscribe and add any comments that you have in the comments box down below. Thanks so much. Bye.